In short order, Littlejohn Coliseum has become one of the premier gymnastic venues in the nation. And tonight, the 24th-ranked Clemson Tigers return home for the first time in 3 weeks to welcome a North Carolina team fresh off of its best meet of the season. It is ACC Gymnastics live on ACC Network Extra. Hi everybody, so happy to have you with us on this Friday night as we welcome you into the inaugural Pink Meet here in Littlejohn Coliseum alongside former Auburn gymnast Toy Garcia. My name is John Gross. Toy, it's week 8. NQS rankings begin after this weekend. This is when things really start to matter.
That's exactly right. We're in the second half of the season where the details and the smaller things are really going to count. Those stuck landing, those pointed toes, lineups, alternates, they're always going to be vying for that spot, but at this point in the season, lineups are really starting to solidify.
Clemson and North Carolina meeting for the second time this season. They previously met on January 26th. Let's take a look back at the breakdown of that meet. Clemson came away with the win, 19655, the total score for the Tigers. Clemson's first road win in program history. That one up in Chapel Hill, and of course tonight here in Clemson, South Carolina, at a rocking Littlejohn Coliseum. Toy, when we spoke preseason with Amy Smith, she talked about how she wants this environment to be like a party. It has been like that every single time Clemson's been at home this year. That's
exactly right, and a party it is. We were just chatting before this, and it is so fun in this environment. The energy is absolutely palpable.
And of course, some extra meaning in this meet as well. You see pink all around. It is the inaugural Pink Meet for Clemson Gymnastics. Both of these teams wearing pink Leos. Great look for both squads. You see a jam-packed house. It's a busy time on campus here in Clemson. Softball and baseball playing today as well, but Toy, this really just shows how much this community has grown to love the sport of gymnastics, that despite having other sports going on, they have packed the house here at Littlejohn Coliseum. And there is Amy Smith, her first season as Clemson's head coach, and what a job she has done in the inaugural year of this program. Spent 5 seasons as the head coach at Utah State. Hired in April of 2022, and here we go. We are underway. Clemson will begin on vaults with Rebecca Wells, coming off of a career-high all-around performance of 39.55.
And it's Yurchenko layout full. Very nicely done. A lot of height off that table. Good amplitude, distance as well. You can see she took that small hop back. That'll be a 10th or 2, but nicely done. We'll take another look here. Important to note, good entry onto the table. Ankles are just absolutely glued together. Doesn't exactly get that stuck landing, but job well done.
North Carolina begins on bars. It's Jamie Shearer, the senior, against Pitt last time out. Had a season-high 9.825 on bars. There is Dana Durante, third-year head coach in charge of North Carolina. UNC coming off of its best meet score of the season against Pitt, and Shearer gets things going for the visitors.
Good handstand right on top of the bar. Nice major release there. That is what we call a Jaeger in gymnastics. All gymnasts are required a major release in their routine. Gearing up for the dismount. Nice handstand there. Only thing left is the dismount. We can tell it because her giants are starting to accelerate. It's a double layout and sticks that landing. Excellent job for first routine up for UNC.
Strong start for Shearer, who has been in this bars lineup throughout her Tar Heel career. We move back to vaults. It is Eve Jackson, fresh off of a season-high 9.825 in this event against NC State.
Yurchenko layout full, a little bit of a trouble up there on the landing. She took a step, looks like out of the white lines. That'll be more of a deduction than usual. Take another look here. So round up back handspring onto the table. Layout full off of the table, twisted just a little bit early, which is why she was crooked and did have to take that step outside of the white lines. So back over to bars. Julian Noer,
will get things going. But first, a look at Dana Durante, her third season in charge of UNC. She spent 5 years at Georgia, and Toy, you had the chance to compete against her as well, as you see Rebecca Wells starting things off with a 9-8 for Clemson.
Dana and I had a great conversation before the meet. We recognized each other, caught up on good old times in the SEC, and it was really, really great to catch up.
So Julia Noer, second in this lineup on bars. The Louisiana native had a season high on bars against Pitt. Had season highs on all 4 events and the all-arounds against the Panthers last time out.
Mount from in between the bars. Good job on that major release there. That was a ginger. Nice high to low, also known as an overshoot there. Hit her handstand. Only thing left here is the dismount. Just looking for her to land on her feet. It's a full twisting double back dismount, 6-out landing. She is proud about that. You can see it all over her face. That's 2 6 in a row for UNC. Another look at this major release. It's called a ginger.
So back to the vaults. Clemson with back-to-back 9-8s to start things off. On vaults, here is Trinity Brown. 9-8 last time out against NC State on vaults.
Huge Yurchenko layout full. I love when I see gymnasts twist with their hips absolutely wide open. In a flat body position, it is so difficult to do. She did it with so much ease. Made it look much easier than it actually is. Take another look. Excellent entry onto the table. And just sees the ground, eases right into that landing. Doesn't get the stick, but shouldn't be too much of a deduction on that step.
Brown, one of those 6 transfers from Utah State, doing her thing now with the Clemson Tigers. So we go back to bars with Kaya Forbes. Jamie Shearer, her score a 9.725 in the first go for North Carolina. And there you see it, the 9.725 for Shearer. Here is Forbes, sophomore from Louisiana.
Nice major release there. That is a chapache. A little bit of a leg separation there on her high to low, that overshoot. Full twisting double back dismount. Comes off the bar just a little bit early, which is why she landed with her chest down. Didn't complete that flip. Judges are looking for gymnasts to land with their chest straight up and down. Take another look at her major release, that chapache. Nicely done. And the dismount here peels off the bar just a little too soon. Lands with her chest down, has to take that step forward.
A reminder, the lowest of the 6 scores is dropped. They just take the 5 highest. So we go back to vaults. Here is Molly Arnold's at a career-high 9.925 for her second event win of the season against NC State last week.
Yurchenko 1.5. That's the first 10-0 start vault that we've seen so far. Take another look at this vault. A little bit crunchy on the table. Her arms were a little bit bent. Didn't quite get the amplitude off the table that she probably needed to land in a straight up and down position. You can see she landed just a little bit squatty.
So back to bars we go. Here is Gwen Fink. And Trinity Brown's given a 9.875. Julia Noer, 9.825. As Fink steps to the bars. Coming off of a career-high 9.9 against Pitt. And Toy, that was really the theme for North Carolina across the board. They were finally healthy, battling some injuries and illness earlier on in the season, but they feel confident after that season-best performance against Pitt last week.
Durante said that after last week's performance, the team felt somewhat of a renewed energy, that they can compete like they were training.
Waiting in the judges right now as they confer. There is Dana Durante looking on. Durante mentioned before she was at Georgia for 5 years. Actually, after leaving Georgia, left coaching in general. She spent 4 years recruiting executives for Fortune 500 companies. Gets back into coaching now in year 3, leading the way for the Tar Heels.
Beautiful handstand right on top of the bar there. Moving right into her major release. Nice handstand, that's what the judges are looking for. Finish all handstands straight up and down on top of the bar. Gearing up for the dismount here. Double layout, sticks the landing. I can tell what UNC has been practicing back in the gym. It looks like those stuck landings, and they are bringing it tonight. Take another look at her major release here. Nice height and distance from the bar, exactly what the judges are looking for. Finishes with that handstand right on top.
UNC at a season high in bars last week. Solid start so far to begin things. Here is Lauren Rutherford, transfer from NC State, who actually did not compete last week against her former team.
Nice, Yurchenko, 1.5. Very well done, almost got that stuck landing. Beautiful position, execution in the air. Nicely done. Finishes with that blind landing, cannot see the floor before she lands. Very difficult to do. She handled it with no problem.
As Isabella Schaefer steps up to bars. Couple score updates. Kaya Forbes, 9.175 in bars. So North Carolina hoping that is the lowest score. Molly Arnold, another 9.8. So it's been 4 9.8s or better for Clemson to start things off on vaults. There was Schaefer at a 9.925 in bars last week. That was tied for the 3rd best in North Carolina history. Two-time All-Eagle last 2 years on this apparatus.
So far, no major problems here. This gymnast is very clean on this event. No major form breaks. Full twisting double back. Takes a small hop back, but one of very few deductions there. Take another look at her major release. Straddle Jaeger. And this full twisting double back dismount has just a little bit too much juice, takes a hop back.
So back to vaults, the 6th and final gymnast for Clemson. It is Madison Minner, the local product from Anderson. The 9.35 last time out on vaults against NC State.
Yurchenko full, really tried to get that stuck landing, landed with her chest just a little bit down.
Check that, that was Kate Bryant, a late change in the lineup. So it is the freshman from Colorado. So Bryant getting an opportunity in the 6th spot of this lineup for Clemson. And Gwen Fink, a 9.85 on bars. And going back to vault for a second, Lauren Rutherford, a 9.925 for Clemson. That matches a career high for a very, very talented gymnast. And here is, you want to talk about a talented gymnast, Lali Dekanoidze. One of the 5 All-American gymnasts in North Carolina history.
So far, so good. Beautiful handstand right on top of the bar. Double layout, wow. Now that was a bar routine. That was a gorgeous bar routine. I saw very little, if any, deductions on that. Her double layout, her feet were absolutely glued together. I'll take another look here at this dismount. Beautiful handstand finishing right on top of the bar. Double layout, eases right into that landing. Incredible.
So we go to the exhibition. Madison Minner, local product from Anderson, South Carolina. And Kate Bryant wrapping things up with a 9.75 for Clemson and vaults.
Yurchenko, 1.5 in a tuck position. Struggled with that a little bit. She did have a lot of distance from the table, but you can see she stepped out of bounds, stepped out of those white lines, so it'll be a significant deduction.
And competing as an exhibition for UNC, Amy Wozniak. Wozniak, whose sister Sarah is a gymnast at William & Mary. Her sister competed here for the first ever meet in Clemson history. She'll wrap things up for North Carolina on rotation 1. Still waiting on judges. And we're ready to roll here.
First major skill, her major release there. It's a Jaeger, straddle Jaeger, moving right on down to the low bar with an overshoot. Back up to the high bar. A little bit short on that last handstand. It's a giant full into a double back dismount. A little bit squirrely there on that connection, but she salvages it and lands on her feet with what I believe is a stuck landing.
So Amy Wozniak wraps things up for rotation 1 here in Little John Coliseum. Rotation 2 after this on ACC Network Extra. 24th ranked Clemson leads North Carolina by 0.05 of a point after the first rotation. This is the regular season finale in ACC conference action for both North Carolina and Clemson today. And of course, a historic season for ACC gymnastics. It returns this season for the first time since 1984, back when the NC State Wolfpack won that championship. NC State has already claimed the regular season title for the ACC this season. 4 teams in the ACC: Clemson, UNC, NC State, and Pitt. And the first season in 40 years of ACC gymnastics. And a whole lot of headlines across the conference as you see NC State clinches that regular season title with its win over Clemson last time out. That being said, Clemson recently set a bar record, 4.9375 for a season high. And as we touched on before, North Carolina coming off of its best performance of this season, a 8th best score in UNC history, that 1.9665 for the Tar Heels last time out against Pittsburgh. Well, let's take a look at the top 10. Toy, it is no surprise that Oklahoma is at the top, but maybe the one thing that is just even more impressive than that is the lead that they have over everybody else.
Oklahoma has been outstanding for the past couple years. I am actually not surprised by this incredible 198 average from them.
A tremendous program, a dynasty in Norman, Oklahoma. As you see, Clemson and NC State repping the ACC, tied for 24th nationally with 196.175. So Oklahoma has its sights on another championship, as do many teams across the landscape. The regionals held late March, early April, the 4 regional host sites, and then the NCAA championships in April. Really exciting time of the year with college gymnastics really heating up. As we said before, the NQS scores begin after this week 8 of college gymnastics. So Clemson and North Carolina will enter the second rotation. The Tigers lead by 0.05 of a point. Rotation 2 after this from the Pink Meet in Clemson, South Carolina. It is a party in Clemson, South Carolina. One of the newest but most energetic environments in the sport. Here at Little John Coliseum, Clemson leads it by 0.05 of a point after the first rotation against North Carolina. So let's break things down after that first rotation. There is head coach Amy Smith, and she has to be pretty pleased, Toy, because that score, the team score on vault 492, led by Lauren Rutherford's 9925, is a team high on vault this season for the Tigers.
They should definitely be impressed with that score. We saw a lot of really good vaults from them. Would have liked to see a little bit better landings. That is what's really going to push them into a great success in the postseason.
As Amy Smith looks on, her vision coming to fruition in the first season of this program. Clemson already ranked 24th nationally. Meanwhile, Dana Durante leading the way for North Carolina, who, again, have battled injuries, illnesses throughout the season. But she feels that after that performance on Friday, they sat down as a team and they said, listen, we can look at January and early February as an extended preseason that taught us a lot of lessons, but now we still have 6 more opportunities for our NQS score. 3 away meets, which that is the necessary requirement for NQS score, so there is still a lot to play for the Tar Heels this season.
Coach said that they're still in this thing mathematically, and they're really, really going off of that momentum from the last meet. With all those suck landings on bars, like we mentioned before, the smaller things, the details, is really what's going to drive you into a successful postseason.
So we move over to rotation 2. Gwen Fink will start things off for North Carolina. 9.75 on vaults. Last time out, the Fort Mill, South Carolina native. Played 5 sports growing up before finally settling on gymnastics. And a tremendous athlete who leads things off for North Carolina on rotation 2. Waiting on the judges to get things started. Last week against Pitt, North Carolina had season highs on every event except for vaults. And they will look to top that today. All right, Toy, take us through this. What are the judges looking for on vaults?
Points of emphasis. Of course, start value. A Yurchenko layout full is no longer a 10-0 start. That's a typical vault you see in NCAA. Execution, what your vault looks like off the table, and then, of course, that stuck landing. We'll see here, beautiful execution throughout the air. Does take that small hop back. That'll be a 10th or 2, but a lot of amplitude and power in that vault. Let's take another look here. Good entry onto the table. Beautiful layout before she begins her twist. And looks like she could actually go for another half twist there. Job well done.
Rebecca Wells in the leadoff spot once again for Clemson as the Tigers commence on bars.
Love to watch Wells on this event. She is such a powerhouse. Huge reverse hecht as her major release. Handstand right on top of the bar, what the judges are looking for. Accelerated giants going into the dismount. It's a full twisting double back. Sticks that landing. The crowd goes wild. That'll be a high score for the Clemson Tigers. Take a look at this huge reverse hecht as her major release. So much height off that bar. She is just flying through the air.
Back to vault, here is Corey Shinohara, who is coming off a season high in vault last time out. The Massachusetts native who trained with the great Allie Raisman growing up.
Yurchenko full, nicely done, a little bit of a pikey landing. You can see she piked her hips just a little bit, close her hips there. Take another look here. Round up back handspring onto the table. Nice open shoulders. You can see there she starts to pike down just a little bit on the second half of the rotation.
So Shinohara second in the lineup for North Carolina. Gwen Fink started things off with a 9.825. And back on bars, here is Eve Jackson. Season high in bars last time out, 9.875 for the Clemson all-around. Score update for Clemson, Rebecca Wells, a 9.85 to get things going on bars for the Tigers. That is a season high for Wells.
Good connection there. Major release into an immediate overshoot down to the low bar. Good solid handstand right on top of the bar. Dismount's the only thing left. The full twisting, double back, and gets that landing. I tell you what, John, these teams came to play tonight. Nice major release there. It's a straddle Jaeger into an immediate overshoot. Good connection. And then we'll take another look at her dismount. It's a full twisting, double back, solid landing, solid finish.
Stuck landings galore between Clemson and North Carolina. Here is Paige Prejean. Corey Shinohara a 9.8 on her first go. So Prejean, their first appearance of the night.
Nicely done. Yurchenko layout full, takes a small hop back. Shouldn't be too major of a deduction there. Nice clean vault.
Prejean tied their season high last time out against Pitt with a 9.75. We'll see what's in store for that score. Back to bars, Lily Lippett will get things going for Clemson, and Eve Jackson a 9.9 on bars for the Tigers. That is a season high for Eve Jackson, and it ties her career high. So back-to-back meets with new season highs for Jackson.
Beautiful connection there, two major releases back-to-back. Dismount here, giant full to an immediate double back. Excellent connection throughout this routine. Doesn't exactly get that stuck landing. You can see she took a small hop forward, but a lot of difficulty in that routine. Major difficulty there, and those two major releases back to back.
Here is Julia Noer. Paige Prejean, a 9.75 for North Carolina last time around for the Heels. Noer, two-time NCAA regional individual qualifier. Last time out, a career high 9.9 on vaults.
A little bit short there. I could actually see it as soon as she took off from the table. Her shoulders were a little bit closed on the table. She did not get the height or the distance she needed. Why she had to take a couple steps back and actually almost ran back into the table, you can see here.
Back to bars, a bars specialist, Caitlin de Guzman for Clemson. Bars runs in her family, a medalist to the 2017 Southeast Asian Games. Her mom was a gold medalist at the Southeast Asian Games as well on bars. Lily Lippett a 9.825 as this strong bars lineup continues for the Tigers.
Jaeger to an immediate overshoot. Struggled a little bit with that last handstand there. Dismount, double layout. I don't know if they'll give her that stuck landing. She didn't present to the judges. Didn't show control before she presented, so I'm not sure they'll give her that stuck landing. Take another look at her major release. It's a straddle Jaeger into an immediate overshoot. Good connection. And then again at this dismount, double layout. Takes that step back before she presents.
So the 23rd ranked team on bars, the Clemson Tigers. Solid go so far. Here's a look at Julia Noer, a 9.55. That is, to this point, the lowest score for North Carolina. Of course, the Heels hoping that is the lowest score through 6, and they can drop it. Here's Lale Dekanoidze.
Wow, beautiful Yurchenko layout full. Really tried to get that stuck landing. Didn't quite get it. Small hop back. Nice entry onto the table. Well above the table. Good distance from the table. And then again, just takes that small hop back.
So back to bars, Lauren Rutherford. A standout performance on vault earlier today, looking to follow that up on bars. And Caitlin de Guzman, a 9.725 for Clemson. Rutherford, again, did not compete last time out against NC State. Before that, only worked the bars against Pitt, the preseason ACC watch list honoree.
Gorgeous major release there. Nice handstand right on top of the bar to an immediate overshoot down to the low bar. Love the amount of connections we're seeing here. Gearing up for the dismount, double layout. Small hop forward, lands with her chest down ever so slightly. Huge major release there. And then down to the low bar with her overshoot. Missed that handstand just a tad.
Over to Kaya Forbes to wrap things up on vault for North Carolina. Her pre-meet routine includes eating 3 birthday cake flavored Hershey's to give her that fuel before every meet.
Wow. Just flew through the air on that Yurchenko layout full. I mean, practically floating. That looks so effortless for her. Beautiful body shape all throughout.
So Forbes wraps things up on vaults for North Carolina. As Trinity Brown will step up. Toy, I have to ask, so Forbes is her routine, 3 birthday cake flavored Hershey's before each meet. Did you have a routine before each meet?
Absolutely, I did. I really actually like to stay to myself and not watch any gymnasts before me. That was my routine.
There you go, a 9.825 for Lauren Rutherford on bars last time out for Clemson.
Wow, gorgeous connections there. Handstands right on top of the bar. You'll notice that the more connections these gymnasts have, the faster their routines go. And she finishes it with a double layout, sticks that landing. The crowd is yelling a 10, John. What do we think? We'll take another look at her double layout dismount. Huge double layout, just a little bit of a leg separation there, but nails that landing.
Trinity Brown, the Maryland native, wraps things up on bars for Clemson. We go back to vault. This is Ellie King exhibition.
Nice exhibition vault. Definitely pushing others to get into the lineup there. A lot of power in this vault. Job well done.
You said King pushing others in that lineup. That's exactly what Dan Durante mentioned to us earlier this week. She likes what she has in the freshman from the Woodlands, Texas. Another exhibition now for Clemson. Here is Trinity Webb, freshman from Missouri. Has appeared twice on bars this year.
Beautiful line so far. One thing that I've noticed immediately from this gymnast.
9.85 for Trinity Brown to wrap things up for Clemson. A career high for Trinity Brown on bars.
Very clean routine. We'll take another look here at her dismount, a double layout. You can see her ankles are glued together. I cannot express how difficult that is to do. She handled it perfectly.
So Clemson has one more bars exhibition, but they will wrap up this event with a 4.925, which is above their season average on bars, and they're 23rd ranked nationally on bars. So a strong performance for the Tigers. And Dakota Berry will wrap things up for Clemson, the freshman from California. actually took 17 classes in high school last year to graduate early and enroll at Clemson. She has not officially competed for the Tigers, but gets an opportunity as an exhibition.
Exhibition routines are a great way for these gymnasts to get exposure and to perform in like a meet-light setting. And although their scores will not count toward the team total, it's a great way for these girls to get experience. Opening up with a major release, that was a chapache into an immediate pack salto. Good connection there, showing a lot of difficulty, struggling a little bit with that pirouette, having to perform it again. Just needs to finish on her feet, double layout, and recovers well.
So Dakota Berry wraps things up. Well, Clemson, as we mentioned, 23rd ranked team on bars. And this is a look at their rankings across the board. You see floor is where they're the highest, 19th nationally. Toy, some strong numbers for Amy Smith's squad in year one.
Yeah, super impressed with them on really all the events, but floor, yes, definitely. They had stellar performances, and they're really proving that the ACC, this conference, is one to be reckoned with.
Clemson adds to its lead, 9-8-4-5 for the Tigers through 2 rotations as they lead North Carolina. Third rotation after this. Clemson back at home for the first time in 3 weeks. A strong start through 2 rotations. They lead North Carolina 9-8-4-5 to 9-8-3 midway through. So it is the inaugural season of Clemson Gymnastics, and you look here at the timeline. It was back on June 17, 2021 that then Clemson Athletic Director Dan Radakovich announced the addition of gymnastics as a sport at Clemson. And since then, Toy, it has been remarkable the amount of buzz and energy that this program has created in the gymnastics community.
That's right, John. We were here, you and I, for the very first home meet ever for Clemson Gymnastics. And now weeks later, the energy and the crowd participation has really remained the same. So you can tell that this community is just thrilled to have this program up and running.
Friday nights, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement here in Clemson, South Carolina. And that really goes across the board in the ACC, since it is the first year that gymnastics is back. It's something that we talked to Dana Durante about earlier in the week, just about the first season competing in this conference. And she said, listen, there's a fun vibe. The athletes' peers, the fans, the community, the athletic department, they understand what the ACC is. Previously, North Carolina, a member of Eagle Conference, now in the ACC. There is more awareness, more publicity, and more excitement surrounding these meets. So we move on to rotation 3. It is Lily Lippett who leads things off for Clemson. Freshman, the first high school signee in program history and a 3-time member of the USA national team.
Front aerial to a splashdown. Certain elements are required from each gymnast on every event, of course. Beam. Switch leg leap, completing a 180 requirement. Double acro series, like she did, that front aerial to a splashdown requirement. Single skill, also a requirement. That side aerial will serve as that. Full turn here, also a requirement. Much harder than it looks, I will say. Last skill left for her should be the dismount. Judges are looking for a stuck landing. And she gives them just that. Solid performance for Clemson as the leader of this lineup. Take another look at her double acro front aerial to an immediate splashdown to the beam. And gives them that stuck landing that they are looking for.
So Lippett leads the way for Clemson's, what has been statistically the Tigers' worst event of the season on beam. Now over to floor. Amy Wozniak coming off of a career-high 9.825 last week against Pittsburgh.
floor was always my favorite event to compete as a gymnast. Really allows you to show off personality and certain strengths. First pass here. So go back to an immediate double tuck. Nice connection there. That'll serve as her double acro, a requirement for each gymnast on this event. Just like beam, the judges are looking for leaps to finish out 180 degrees. Looking for showmanship, execution on this event. Second pass. Double pike. Does take that step out of bounds. That'll be a couple tenths deduction. You can see she does have a 4-inch mat on the floor. That's allowed for these athletes without any deductions. Finishes nicely.
So Amy Wozniak in the leadoff role in this lineup for North Carolina. Enter the floor lineup midway through last season, has been a consistent starter this season.
We'll check out this first pass again. Oh, whoop back to a double tuck immediately. Second and last pass, a double pike. You can see she takes a pretty large step out of bounds there.
So back to beam, it is Bree Clark. One of those 6 Utah State transfers, the Alabama native, a former All-American back as an Aggie at Utah State.
Wow, love to see that. Sustaining front tuck to an immediate straddle jump, so hard to do. If you do see front tucks anymore on balance beam in NCAA gymnastics, they're coming out of a running start. So she did it standing with no momentum before, very hard to do. Love when gymnasts take risks on events. They are usually rewarded for that. Nice 180 splits there. And the dismount here. So front layout off the end of the beam and sticks that landing. Front full off the end of the beam, sticks that landing, no problem. Blind landing at that. Hard to do, did it well.
A lot of stuck landings today for both these teams, especially Clemson. It is Bree Clark, the second go for Clemson on that last go. Here's Taylor Scholes on floor. Her first appearance of the day, coming off of a career-high 9.875 against Pitt. Somebody who prior to this year, the junior from Texas, hadn't competed on floor since her sophomore year in high school, but was asked to be in this lineup, and she has thrived this season.
First pass, front layout to an immediate 1.5 twist. That will serve as her double acro, 2 skills back to back. Taking a dance break here, showcasing those 180 leaps and split jumps.
Floor update, Amy Wozniak, a 9.625 in the leadoff spot for North Carolina.
Last pass, she sure did fight for that. 1.5 to an immediate front layout. That's what we're looking for, though, that grit, that fight. This score might count. Finishes strongly.
You mentioned that grit. That is what Dana Durante says she loves about this team, the resilience they've shown. And you saw some of that with Scholes.
First pass there, front layout to a 1.5 twist. Handles that with no problem.
Back to beam. Here is Eve Jackson. You see that beam average for Jackson. They're one of those Utah State transfers, one of 6 Utah State gymnasts to transfer over to Clemson prior to last year. Had to, of course, not compete last year. Waiting on the judges. And Eve Jackson comes from a very athletic family. Her dad played football, as did her uncle. And her uncle, a very famous football player at that, one of the best wide receivers that we've seen in the NFL in recent years, Deshaun Jackson. So Eve Jackson, the niece of Deshaun, a standout NFL career after a high-level career at Cal in college. And here she is on beam.
Acro series here. Back handspring step out to layout step out to another layout step out. Triple acro series there. A lot of difficulty behind that. A little bit of a bounce trip there.
Floor update for Taylor Scholl's 9.575. So 2 scores pretty low for North Carolina to start things off on floor.
Having a little bit trouble halfway through this routine. Doesn't look like she completed a leap series, which again is a requirement. She will lose 10th there. The dismount. Round off 1.5. Small hop in the landing. Definitely interested to see this score here. Like I mentioned, doesn't look like she completed her leap series. So that will be a significant deduction.
Now let's go back to beam. And Toy, what are the judges looking for on this event?
First and foremost, dance and acro skills must meet all requirements there. Connections, which we just saw, didn't look like she got that connection there. And then of course, balance, are looking for you to stay right on top of the beam.
Here was Gwen Fink for North Carolina, the Tar Heels, with a 9.625 and a 9.575 on the first 2 goes on floor. They need a big score here from Fink.
First pass, double pike, no problems there. Gearing up for the second pass here. Two and a half twist. A lot of difficulty in that skill. Third and final pass coming up here. Just need her to stay on her feet. So 1.5 front layout, nice connection. Eases right on out and finishes strongly. Nicely done.
So Fink wraps things up. Eve Jackson, a 9.2 for Clemson on beam. Here's a look back at a couple of these passes.
First pass here, double pike, no issues there. That step out into the lunge is okay to do. Gymnast will not get a deduction for that. And last pass, it's her double acro, 1.5 to an immediate front layout.
Here is Rebecca Wells, who has won the beam event title at the last 3 meets. One of her premier events. Here's a look at the scores for Clemson thus far on beam. The Tigers hoping that 9.2 from Jackson is the lowest of the 6.
So Jackson did not fall, but you will notice a significant decrease in that score because she was missing a major element, her leap series. It's important for the rest of the team to kind of pick up the slack here so we can drop that 9.2. Well, so far Strong performance. Back handspring step out to a layout step out. Absolutely solid on this event. No major deductions so far. The dismount round off, double full, and sticks that landing. That will be a high score for the Tigers.
Well, she's 19th nationally on beam, and we just saw why.
Beautiful 180 there. A little bit of a balance check there. It lands with her chest down just ever so slightly, but only deduction I saw.
Floor update for North Carolina. Gwen Fink, a 9.825, a much-needed score for North Carolina. Here is Bella Miller, 9.725 last time out against Pitt. This is a gymnast who is a junior, but did not make the lineup in either of her first 2 seasons. Here she is, her 3rd year, and she has become a fairly routine gymnast in these lineups for North Carolina.
Good job there. Front through to a double back. Beautiful leaf series there. Switch ring, very hard to do. Love the facial expressions.
Yes.
Engaging the crowd. That's what the judges are looking for, these gymnasts also to have fun.
Miller was challenged by her coaches after last season. They said, hey, this is what we need to see from you. She said, I can do that. Here she is, fairly routine member of this floor lineup for North Carolina this year.
Double pike, no problems there. She is excited. Nicely done, stellar performance.
So that wraps things up for Miller. Beam update for Clemson, 9.85 for Rebecca Wells, 19th nationally on beam is Wells.
Take another look at her first pass here. So front through to a double back.
Back over to beam, Kylan McCright looking for a bounce-back performance last week against NC State, a season-low 8.975 for the redshirt sophomore from Florida. Beam, the only event that McCright has competed on this season.
Love watching her on this event. She is so confident. Just a beautiful performer. V jump to a tuck full. Side aerial there. Nice to an immediate split jump. Last thing left should be the dismount, looking for a stuck landing. To gain her full off the side, and she sticks that landing. The crowd is yelling a 10, and I think she actually might get it. So no major deductions here in this performance. Just a really bang-up job.
Well, this could be historic if it is, in fact, a 10. Would be Clemson's first. So we will wait to see what Kylan McCright is graded. Here is Kaya Forbes. You see Bella Miller, 9.6 on floor last time out for the Tar Heels. Forbes, somebody who head coach Dana Durante says has untapped potential. Young gymnast from Louisiana.
First pass, huge, full in, so much power, she actually bounces out of bounds. That'll be a couple tenths off. She is small, but she is mighty. Powerful gymnast.
Must be the Hershey's she has prior to every meet. All-tourney team selection last season. On floor.
Beautiful jumps there. 180 degrees.
And an update for McCrite, a 9-9 for Kylan McCrite. That is a season high for her. Really good bounce back performance after a season low last time against NC State.
Last pass, double tuck. Comes out of that just a little too early. Had to take a couple steps forward, and that's a bummer, because that would have been a high score otherwise.
So North Carolina struggling a bit on floor so far. This is an event which had been their strength. Second highest average score this season for the Tar Heels. But right now, 3 gymnasts with 9.625s or lower for UNC. Back to beam. Sierra Church, the anchor in this lineup for Clemson. 9.825 last time out against NC State, a North Carolina native.
Acro series, back handspring step out to a layout step out.
Beam, the only events that Church has competed in this season. This is her 4th consecutive meet on beam for the Tigers.
Nicely done, good connection there. It's a side aerial to an immediate woof jump. Last thing, left should be the dismount. Round off 1.5 to a stuck landing. Solid performance.
Amy Smith fired up with Sierra Church as that wraps things up on beam for Clemson. Beam had been the lowest average score this season for Clemson, but boy, pretty impressive lineup right there for Clemson on beam.
Oddly enough, nationally speaking, beam is one of their weaker events, and tonight they really blew us out of the water with their performances.
So Julia Noer will wrap things up on floor for North Carolina. Noer, 2-time NCAA regional individual qualifier. Last time out, had a season high on floor. Really strong performance against Pitt last week. Career high in vault, season highs on bars, beam, and floor as well.
First pass, beautiful double pike. Couldn't tell there if she stepped out of bounds. Looked like she might have.
Noer part of this star-studded junior class for North Carolina, alongside Isabel Schaefer and Lali Dekanoidze.
Second pass, front full to an immediate layout. Dance break here, engaging the crowd, getting everyone excited. You can see her teammates on the side joining her.
And a career high on beam. The success continues for Clemson. Sierra Church, a career high, 9.925.
Struggled just a little bit on that last pass there. Landed with her chest down.
So there is Sierra Church, her 9.925, a career high for the freshman from Lincoln, North Carolina. And Troy, that also means Clemson has secured a season high on beam, 493 for the Tigers, which, as you said, that has been the event that's been their lowest scoring event all season.
Just proves that this team is gracefully getting better every meet.
Quinn Cool comes on as an exhibition, one of two exhibitions for Clemson. It's Cool and Lily Kurak. UNC without an exhibition on floor.
No major issues so far. Required full turn there, a little bit of a balance check. Front toss to an immediate beat jump. Looks just a little bit nervous. One more required element will be the dismount. Round off 1.5, and nicely done for an exhibition.
Cool, the freshman getting an opportunity on beam, which has been her specialty this season. How valuable can those exhibition goes be for, especially a freshman who is in her first season competing at the college level?
Yeah, they absolutely need that exposure. And like I mentioned earlier, the lineups, they might be getting a little bit more solidified, but they're not guaranteed from meet to meet.
And final floor update for North Carolina, a 9.775. So Clemson nearly a full point edge in rotation 3 as the Tigers really builds on its lead by a full point now, 147.75 to 146.75. There is Lily Kurak, another freshman, getting an opportunity as an exhibition. Originally committed to Amy Smith, just saw her talking with her head coach when Coach Smith was at Utah State, but then switched to Clemson. And the Tampa, Florida native will wrap things up. Our second and final exhibition try for the Tigers in rotation 3.
Back handspring step out to layout step out. That's her double acro. A little bit of trouble there on the last skill. Nice front toss, solid there.
Correct, somebody who's persevered, tore her Achilles in her sophomore year of high school. That is prime recruiting time. Amy Smith still gave her an opportunity. And as we said, she followed Coach Smith here to Clemson in year 1 of the program.
And dismount, round off 1.5 twist. She looks a little bit surprised that she landed that, but she did. And good job all around.
So Clemson, a strong beam performance. A 4.93 for the Tigers. That is a season high on beam as the Tigers lead it by a whole point as we wrap up rotation 3 here between Clemson and North Carolina. Fourth and final rotation coming up next as these two teams wrap up their ACC regular season slate. It is the Pink Meat here in Clemson, South Carolina on ACC Network Extra. Clemson leads North Carolina by a full point as we are through the first 3 rotations, the ACC regular season finale for these two programs as we welcome you back into the Pink Meat here in Little John Coliseum. She's former Auburn gymnast Toy Garcia. I'm John Gross, thrilled to have you with us tonight. And Toy, you look at this Auburn team through 3 rotations, season highs on vaults and beam. It's been a strong performance for Amy Smith's squad tonight.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've seen some star-studded performances here tonight. Like I mentioned earlier, they're focusing on the small things, and you can tell a lot of stuck landings, a lot of great execution in the air, and it's very exciting to see the ACC, this conference, really come through.
Jam-packed venue and a lot of energy as we take a look back at some highlights through these first 3 rotations, Toy.
You can see here, like I mentioned earlier, just soaring through the air. Excellent execution on these vaults. You can tell that these athletes have really been honing in on the small details. Stuck landings, perfect presentation. This one in particular at UNC, just floating through the air. Looks like she could have done another rotation there, another flip. Super excited to see that UNC is coming through. Then here on bars, same things. Looking at the stuck dismounts, just excellently done. Double layouts, feet absolutely glued together, very hard to do. Just back-to-back stuck landings. And the crowd is so excited. I can actually hear it here behind me. Another stuck landing there. Just job well done all around from every athlete these first 2 rotations.
Well, Toy, you said it. The fans behind us, the student section fired up. That's because Amy Smith was just over here getting him hyped up. And you see some young fans in attendance enjoying some ACC gymnastics. Rotation 4 after this, here from Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson continues to add to its lead, a sizable jump after that 3rd rotation. You look here at our meet summary through the first 3 rotations. Toy, what has stood out to you about the way that these 2 teams have competed so far today?
Yeah, like I mentioned, the details. Like you can tell that they've really been focusing on that in practice, and those are the things that are really going to matter as they gear up for postseason.
See Lauren Rutherford at 9.925 on vaults for her. A standout performance that matches her career high. Sierra Church, a career high on beam last time out as well. As you get a look at the student section for Clemson, they are fired up. And speaking of Sierra Church, here's a look at that career high score.
So impressed with this routine. I mean, my jaw was on the ground almost the entire time. Barely any deductions. You can see there that stuck dismount, and coach is so excited, as are her teammates in the back.
Church, the freshman from North Carolina, staying in the Carolinas to compete in college. What an atmosphere. Clemson has built a premier environment in college gymnastics, 8th nationally in average attendance per meet.
John, coming from the SEC, this environment feels very similar. So it's so exciting to see that in the ACC, truly.
Clemson and North Carolina, 2 of the 4 teams in this conference. There's Maddie Hargrave, an assistant for Clemson, who actually was a former gymnast for North Carolina. So after spending 4 years as a student athlete for the Tar Heels, now an assistant on Amy Smith's squad. Rockin' atmosphere here in Little John Coliseum.
For the viewers and the crowd, they'd beg to say that floor is the most exciting event, and here Clemson is ready to go. Really excited to see what they're going to put up for us to watch tonight.
Like you said, Toy, going back to competing in the SEC, you've competed in environments like this. What does that do for you as a gymnast when you have this much energy in the arena?
You know, competing for 2 hours straight can be very difficult. So feeding off of the energy of the crowd really helps you get through that last event, the most exciting event. You're tired, and yes, it's exciting, but like I said, you're tired. So feeding off of that energy really is so helpful, and it really just excites these athletes.
Well, we have reached the final event. North Carolina now on beam, 24th ranked Clemson on floor. This is the Tigers' strongest event. Clemson ranked 19th nationally on floor. Jessica Naranjo, her first appearance of the day, the freshman from Hialeah, Florida, at a 9.725 on beam against Pitt last week. Attended the same high school and club as UNC teammate Bella Miller, who was American Twisters Gymnastics down in Florida. She was a 2-time level 10 state champion, and she leads things off for North Carolina on beam.
Good connection there. Front aerial to an immediate back handspring step out. Coach Dana said that their lineups are somewhat confirmed and solidified, but floor and beam, they're still looking for a little bit of movement. So these alternates that are coming up, that are coming in, might have a chance.
Jamie Shearer is listed as an alternate.
But looks like she will keep that leadoff position on beam for UNC, because that was a standout performance from her. Double acro series is a front aerial to a back handspring step out, and then her dismount here, back handspring to an immediate layout, 1.5 twist, blind landing, and sticks it.
Well, the energy has just been turned up a few notches as Clemson begins floor. Here is Maggie Holman, the Raleigh, North Carolina native, a 9.675 in floor last week against NC State as she leads off for Clemson.
First pass here. Nice front double twist. That's an E-level skill, one of the harder ones that you can perform. Something fairly new in NCAA gymnastics is you'll see a lot of these athletes only performing 2 tumbling passes in their floor routine. And that's okay, as long as they meet all requirements within those 2 passes. Getting the crowd excited as she gears up for her last and final pass here.
Beam update for North Carolina, Jessica Naranjo, 9.825 for the Tar Heels.
Last pass, beautiful front handspring, 1.5 twist to an immediate layout step out. Exactly what Clemson is looking for their leadoff.
All right, so Clemson, this is its strongest event, 19th nationally on floor. Toy, what are the judges looking for on floor?
Sure, difficulty. E-level skills, just like this gymnast performed, front handspring double twist, presentation, getting the crowd involved, chin up, and showing a lot of confidence. And then, of course, landings. Unlike all the other events, you can take a step back into a lunge, and it will not be deducted.
First appearance of the day for Hallie Thompson, the grad student who earlier this week was nominated for the prestigious AAI award, which goes to the top senior gymnast nationally. Coming off of a season-high 9.8 on beam against Pitt.
Nice triple series there. That's 3 acro skills competed back-to-back.
Thompson's been a staple in the UNC beam lineup each of the last 2 years after battling back from multiple season-ending ACL tears. Second on beam here for UNC.
Last thing there was her run up, 1.5 twist.
So there was Hallie Thompson, her first go of the day. By the way, over on floor, Maggie Holman at 9.825 in the leadoff spot. Here is Eve Jackson on floor as she wraps up her all-around night for the Tigers. At a season-high 9.875 against NC State. This is her 3rd all-around performance of the season.
Coming off a difficult beam routine. Looking to regain momentum here, and she does just that with her opening pass. It's a full-in E-level skill.
Of course, the scale being A through E in terms of level of difficulty. Beam update for North Carolina, Hallie Thompson, 9.85 for the Tar Heels.
Double salto pass here, front through to double top. Explosive dance out of that pass. Excellent job. Definitely gets back up on her feet after that beam routine. First pass there, beautiful, full in. And then her last pass here, it's her double acro. It's a front through to a double tuck and moves right on out into her dance.
So back to beam for North Carolina, it is Gwen Fink. So this is her first time doing all around for since January. She hadn't done it at all in the month of February. You see her beam average, 9.696 for the Tar Heels.
Nice leap series there. Switch leg leap to an immediate switch leg leap. Once again, judges are looking for complete 180 splits. Anything lower than that will be deducted. Acro series here. Looks like it might be a triple. Back handspring layout step out to an immediate layout step out. Hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yet she makes it look so easy. Clemson floor update, Eve Jackson. It is a new season high and it ties a career high for the redshirt junior from Los Angeles.
Dismount here, back handspring step out to a layout, 1.5 twist. Small hop there. But Coach Dana looks proud. Take another look at this triple series here. It's a back handspring step out to a layout step out to an immediate layout step out. Can't stress how hard that is. You have to be over the beam. Exactly.
So Dana Durante's squad now halfway through its beam lineup. Back to floor with Molly Arnold, redshirt sophomore from Bloomington, Minnesota. Amy Smith told us earlier in the season she has really upgraded her floor. And here she is, third in this Clemson lineup. This is a look at the Tiger 6.
First pass, full in. Clemson coming out with these major E-level skills.
One of those 6 transfers from Utah State. A big season at Utah State in 2022.
This is one of Clemson's stronger events, nationally speaking, and we can really see why. They're showing a lot of difficulty, a lot of power, and a lot of good control on these landings. 2.5 to an immediate punch front. That's another E-level skill. Excellent job. First pass, huge full in. Moves right out into her dance, no problems there. And then we'll take another look at another E-level skill to 2.5 punch front, and again, no problems there.
So Clemson showing why it's ranked 19th nationally in floor, averaging a team high 4.9317. on floor. Back to beam. Gwen Fink, who went third for UNC, a 9.775 for her. Here is Julian Noer. Noer, a season high on beam last week against Pitt. That was the trend for North Carolina against the Panthers. 6 UNC gymnasts set career highs, in fact, against Pitt in what was UNC's best meet of the season.
No major deductions so far.
And an update on floor for Clemson. How about that? Molly Arnold, a 9.925 on floor. That is now back-to-back 9.925s for Arnold's. She won the floor event last week at NC State and in contention for winning it again here at Clemson.
Clemson doing well, but UNC also coming to play here tonight. Good performance there. Take another look at her dismount. It's a round off 1.5 twist. Doesn't get the stuck landing, but beautifully executed.
Back to floor for the Tigers. That is the Tigers all around. Rebecca Wells, another gymnast who was nominated for the AAI award. Such a prestigious accolade, just to be nominated.
Some would consider it the Heisman of football.
Yes, absolutely. The Heisman of gymnastics, the AAI award, and Wells coming off of a career high all around against NC State. A strong day for her today as well.
E-level skills starting out the floor routine. It's a full in.
Update on beam for UNC, a 9.55 for Julian Noer.
Wow. Beautiful leaps there. Complete 180. Last pass here. So 1.5 through to a double twist. Incredible. First pass, huge full in, E-level skill. And then we'll look at this last pass here. It's a 1.5 step out to a rounded back handspring, double full twist. Just skill after skill after skill.
Standout performance for Wells, and the Clemson floor lineup continues to impress. Again, this is the Tigers' best event. Back to beam for North Carolina. Taylor Scholes takes to the beam. And off of her season low performance, just an 8.9 on beam against Pitt. Her second season in Chapel Hill after starting her career at Brown.
Acro series here. Back handspring step out to a layout step out. A little bit of a balance check. She lifted up that right foot.
And Rebecca Wells, a 9.95. That is a new career high for the redshirt senior on floor. And as it stands, Clemson's lowest floor score, a 9.825. Other than that, there have been 3 9.9s or better for the Tigers on floor.
Dismount here for UNC. Side aerial to 1.5 twist. Doesn't exactly get that stuck landing. It did have to take a step back.
There is Rebecca Wells, the redshirt senior. An historic career for her at Utah State, carrying that success over to Clemson. Here is Bree Clark, who is one of the best floor workers in the nation throughout her career. Last week was her first time not winning the floor event. Has come oh so close to a perfect 10 on floor, and 9.95 is her career high.
First pass, double layout. E-level skill. Dancing to some Boys to Men.
Just saw those scores, those numbers eye-popping for Clemson on floor.
It looks like she's just having a blast out there.
Absolutely. Such an accomplished gymnast on floor. Well, that's what Amy Smith said about her. She said that when Bree Clark is out there, there's pure joy in everything that she does. We're seeing that joy.
Absolutely. The crowd is going wild in here for this floor routine. Last pass. Front layout to a front full to an immediate front tuck. If you can see Coach Amy in the corner, she is thrilled.
There was no doubt that Bree Clark is much-watched television.
First pass, huge double layout, E-level skill there. One of the hardest that you can do. And last pass is 3 skills back-to-back. Front layout, front full to immediate front tuck.
Amy Smith hanging on this crowd as they chant for a 10. After a stand-up performance by Clark. Keller Schultz, a 9.65 for Schultz on beam. Back to beam, Ellie King, the freshman from the Woodlands, Texas. This is her 4th meet this season. Actually debuted against Clemson in the meet in Chapel Hill. King on this UNC roster with her twin sister, Nev. Twins actually runs in their family. Their grandmother was a twin and great-grandmother twins.
Some difficulty there on her double acro series. A little bit of a balance check in between those 2 skills. That will be a small deduction.
Floor update. Bree Clark ties her season high, a 9.925. So Clemson with 4 9.9s or better on its strongest event, which is the floor.
And UNC finishing strong here with a round off 1.5 dismount.
And that will wrap it up for the heels. They will have an exhibition in Jamie Shearer. And again, this is the event in which Dana Durante said there could still be some moving pieces. They're trying to sort things out on beam. Back to floor, Lauren Rutherford wraps things up for Clemson. That season average, 9.888. Can she keep the 9.9 or better trend continuing for the Tigers? Like Bree Clark, who went before her, Rutherford does have a 9.95 in her history.
First pass here, it should be a round off backhand from 2.5 punch front. There it is. I love the facial expressions and when these gymnasts really get into these routines. Like I mentioned, judges are not just looking for good skills, they're looking for these athletes to have a good time.
Rutherford certainly is having a good time. Final beam update for UNC. Ellie King finishes with a 9.65, the freshman from Texas. And right here, it's Rutherford wrapping things up for Clemson.
Last pass here, just looking for her to land on her feet. Double tuck. Took somewhat of a large lunge out of that one, but did land on her feet and finishes strongly.
And that wraps up an elite floor lineup for Clemson. And here's a look at a couple of those passes for Rutherford.
Look at the first pass here. It's a 2.5 to immediate punch front. And the last pass, double tuck. Had a little bit too much juice coming out of that, but job well done.
So back to beam. Jamie Shearer is competing as an exhibition. This is, again, that one lineup where Dana Durante still trying to sort things out. Still some movement here, so maybe an opportunity for Shearer to show her stuff.
Nice acro series. No issues there.
And a floor update for Clemson, a 9.9 for Rutherford, and that means that Clemson finishes with a season-high 4.96 on floor. Already its best event as a team, 19th nationally, and that ranking likely going up with its score increasing. So 5.99s for Clemson on floor.
Nice finish there. Gainer full off the side of the beam, just eases right into that dismount, into that landing. And Clemson. John, let's talk about difficulty with Clemson. I mean, just E-level skill after E-level skill. Just absolutely stunning.
And as you see, this is a breakdown of these routines. There are skills rated A through E. That is the level of difficulty. Of course, different start values as well. All things that go into consideration when coming up with the routines for these gymnasts. So here is Madison Minner. 2 exhibitions for Clemson. Minner and Trinity Brown to wrap up what has been a big night for the Tigers.
First pass. Front handspring, front double full. Another E-level skill. They are just absolutely loaded with E-level skills on floor.
Minner, a local product from Anderson. She competed with Electric City in Anderson even when she was still a student at Clemson. She was just a regular old student as a sophomore here at Clemson. Was still competing though at Electric City, waiting to see who the new coach would be, hoping to get picked up. Amy Smith watched her train at Electric City, gave her a 2-week trial, brought her back for more. She stuck a 1.5 in warm-ups. They gave her an opportunity. She's a walk-on for the Tigers and getting a chance here on floor.
Really proving why she should earn a spot in the lineup.
So one more exhibition. Gotta love that cowboy hat right there. Perfect for tonight's pink meet. And Clemson will wrap things up with Trinity Brown, Maryland native, who competed for the same gymnastics team, Docksiders Gymnastics, that you did. And both you and her all-around Maryland state champions.
That is right. Docksiders Gymnastics in Millersville, Maryland. I am much older than her, John, but I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about after the meet.
Two gymnasts, again, all-around state champions. Trinity Brown, the redshirt sophomore, will end the night for Clemson. Tigers season highs on 3 different events. And the 197.35 absolutely smashes Clemson's previous season high of 196.55. Just waiting on judges here to sort out the final score for Madison Minner.
And while these gymnasts wait on the judges, super important to stay in your bubble, stay in your zone. A lot of times big gaps and the rotations can affect you mentally, but this is what they practice. And she's ready to go here.
So it's Trinity Brown rounding things out tonight for Clemson.
First pass here, it's a front through to round up back handspring, huge double tug. He is a dynamic performer on this event. Switch side to a straddle half. Looks like she'll only be performing 2 passes. She takes a little bit of a dance break here. This is another way for gymnasts to kind of catch their breath in between passes. Gearing up for the last pass here. It's a double pike. Doesn't need to take any steps out of that one, just absolutely sticks it. Let's take another look at this last pass here. It's a round of back handspring to a double pike. She opens up, sees the ground, and just nails it. No steps.
So that wraps things up between Clemson and UNC. And Toy, a season high performance for Amy Smith's squad, a 197.35. They have season highs on 3 different events. We talked about it before. We're getting to the point of the year. NQS becomes a factor after this week. Things really start to heat up right now, and Clemson performed.
You can tell they've really been focusing on the small things, the details, and they brought it here tonight. They are a force to be reckoned with. In the ACC and nationally ranked, Clemson is really, really showing out.
So Clemson picks up the win, 24th ranked team of the nation. That average team score will be increasing after this performance tonight. Again, season high total score, season highs on 3 different events. And a tremendous moment for the Tigers. So a very special night here for the pink meet. And as great as the gymnastics was, what we're about to see is even more incredible.
To turn your attention to the floor as we welcome a special family member of Clemson Gymnastics, April Ard, cousin to Clemson gymnast Sierra Church. April was diagnosed with breast cancer just last July. Over the last 8 months, she has undergone a double mastectomy, radiation, and chemotherapy treatment to aid in her battle. As of last week, April has completed her final round of chemotherapy. It is because of meets like this that we continue to raise awareness, hope, and continue the fight towards finding a cure. April, congratulations. Now, there's only one thing left for you to do. Fans, let's hear it one more time for April R.
What an incredible moment. We send our best to April Ard, congratulate her on this incredible fight. We are so thrilled. And how about this, Sierra Church, a career-high performance in front of her cousin on this very special night. You see Sierra right there in the middle next to her cousin, April Ard, on this incredible pink meat evening in Clemson, South Carolina. All right, Toy, the gymnastics were great. This moment, even better. A special night in Clemson. Your final takeaways from what we witnessed this evening between Clemson and North Carolina.
Some really, really incredible gymnastics tonight, but most importantly, that was so heartwarming and such a positive thing in what could be considered such a negative time in someone's life. So all around, a fantastic night, John.
An incredible night here in Clemson, South Carolina, as the Tigers set a new program record for team score and 3 highs in individual events as well. The Tigers back in action on March 8th. On behalf of our entire fantastic crew, led by Rick Bagby, our broadcast partner, Toy Garcia, I'm John Gross saying so long from Little John Coliseum. This has been ACC Gymnastics on ACC Network Extra.